The sexier the other woman is, the more jealous your wife gets. And that's where slut shaming comes from. When a woman is too sexually attractive, when she's too good at attracting the attention of the opposite sex, other women will shame her for it, because they are afraid she will steal their men. When we least expect it, life sets us a challenge to test our courage and willingness to change. At such a moment, there is no point in pretending that nothing has happened or in saying that we are not yet ready. The challenge will not wait. Life does not look back. A week is more than enough time for us to decide whether or not to accept our destiny. If you spend your time hoping someone will suffer the consequences for what they did to your heart, then you're allowing them to hurt you a second time in your mind. Letting go gives us freedom, and freedom is the only condition for happiness. If, in our heart, we still cling to anything, anger, anxiety, or possessions, we cannot be free. Most misunderstandings in the world could be avoided if people would simply take the time to ask, what else could this mean? Anger. It's a paralyzing emotion. You can't get anything done. People sort of think it's an interesting, passionate, and igniting feeling. I don't think it's any of that. It's helpless. It's absence of control, and I need all of my skills, all of the control, all of my powers. And anger doesn't provide any of that. I have no use for it whatsoever. Anger is like flowing water. There's nothing wrong with it as long as you let it flow. Hate is like stagnant water. Anger that you denied yourself the freedom to feel, the freedom to flow. Water that you gathered in one place and left to forget. Stagnant water becomes dirty, stinky, disease-ridden, poisonous, deadly. That is your hate. On flowing water travels little paper boats of forgiveness. Allow yourself to feel anger, allow your waters to flow, along with all the paper boats of forgiveness. Be human. Usually when people are sad, they don't do anything. They just cry over their condition. But when they get angry, they bring about a change. I'm not really sure why. But, do you stop loving someone just because they betray you? I don't think so. That's what makes the betrayal hurt so much: pain, frustration, anger. And I still loved her. I still do. Men have always wanted to have sex with as many fertile young women as possible. It's part of a man's basic programming. That hasn't changed. Civilization is nothing more than an artificial and very thin veneer hiding our deep-seated primitive urges. Learn this from me. Holding anger is a poison. It eats you from inside. We think that hating is a weapon that attacks the person who harmed us. But hatred is a curved blade. And the harm we do to ourselves. Conquer the angry one by not getting angry. Conquer the wicked by goodness. Conquer the stingy by generosity, and the liar by speaking the truth. It is important not to suppress your feelings altogether when you are depressed. It is equally important to avoid terrible arguments or expressions of outrage. You should steer clear of emotionally damaging behavior. People forgive, but it is best not to stir things up to the point at which forgiveness is required. When you are depressed, you need the love of other people. And yet depression fosters actions that destroy that love. Depressed people often stick pins into their own life rafts. The conscious mind can intervene. One is not helpless. The harder you fall, the heavier your heart. The heavier your heart, the stronger you climb. The stronger you climb, the higher your pedestal. Sensitive people usually love deeply and hate deeply. They don't know any other way to live than by extremes because their emotional thermostat is broken. If you try to get rid of fear and anger without knowing their meaning, they will grow stronger and return. Men feel about sex the way vampires feel about blood. They don't just like it, they crave it. That's why vampire stories always have strong sexual undercurrents. A vampire's hunger is simply a metaphor for a man's lust. And if a guy is paying attention to you, he wants to have sex with you. Anger makes you smaller, while forgiveness forces you to grow beyond what you are. Feelings are something you have, not something you are. Anger is an essential part of being human. People are taught to deny themselves anger, and in this, they are actually opening themselves up to hate. The more you deny yourself the freedom to be angry, the more you will hate. Let yourself be angry, and hate will disintegrate, and when hate disintegrates, forgiveness prevails. The more you deny that you are angry, in attempts to be holy, the more inhuman you will become, and the more inhuman you will become, the harder it will be to forgive.